Do you think that traumas, since you know that you had a traumatic childhood, do you feel like you can handle traumas when you're locked and loaded with all the right hormones and neurochemicals, but once they go away, those traumas, if they're left unhealed, they're coming out, and they're all coming out, and all of a sudden now you are sitting in a life of trauma that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, we can only hide from it for so long, and I feel like perimenopause, whether it's the universe, I don't know, that I call it the reckoning and the biggest time of review, because all of a sudden, whatever you were able to kind of like, shove back, kind of just, cover it up with more productivity, cover it up with more accomplishments, achievement, perfectionism, all those things that look good on paper. When we lose that capacity and these hormones begin to decline, it's like we're facing ourselves for the first time for some of us.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. I just had Terry Cole on here, and we were talking about her new book, A High Functioning Codependent. And I was saying that I'm going through just a journey of really facing myself for the first time. And I know that it's because of two things. It's because these hormones have shifted, and the other things have shifted. And now my parenting, it looks very different. Your parenting will look different as well, because you have a little guy right now. But my kids don't need me. I closed my clinic. My clinic doesn't need me. So my patients aren't there. I just noticed that my identity changed, and that loss of identity left me alone with me. And when I got alone with me, wow, that got really interesting. And thank God I have an incredible EMDR special therapist who has worked with me. But when I hear you say that, I just want every woman to hear that there's this possibility as you go through perimenopause where traumas you couldn't were able to push down before, you cannot push down anymore. And it's not your fault. It's just you don't have the neurochemical bandwidth to be able to do that. Is there anything we can say to those women?
I mean,
how do we help them?
Absolutely. I mean, I want to see it. I'm trying to reframe as that this is a gift, that I get to face myself, that I get to redefine who I am, that I get to discover these patterns that have been driving me for so long, these little adaptations that my little Mariza self, whether she was 7 or 12 or 15, she just made up because she didn't have a choice at the time. And then she thought she could just carry them on through, and they're not serving anymore. And who I'm becoming, I get to honor her, and I get to honor the adaptations and the things that have made me me, but I also get to decide, is this what I want to bring into my next phase? Is this what's going to up level me into the kind of woman I want to be, who I want to show up as? Yeah. And I don't want to effort my way through life anymore. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm exhausted too. And this is the thing, I feel like we're all exhausted. And then we come roaring into perimenopause, exhausted, and then all our neurochemicals change, and all of a sudden our brain and our body's like, here you go, deal with your traumas, learn how to communicate differently to your spouse, and it's just a lot to handle, which leads me to my next point, and one that you and I really bond on, which is my friendships, my girlfriend friendships used to be fun and exciting before, and now they are like medicine for me. And so much so that I have some really solid friends that, I have a friend this morning who just went into Joe Dispenza's week long, and she was.
I just went in December, I just went into Denver in July.
Amazing. She says, knowing our friendship and knowing who I am, she said, hey, I'm not going to be online, but you just keep leaving your thoughts here, your voice, and I will get back to you in a week. But that felt so caring to me. Mm-hmm. It was like, girlfriend, I'm going to go do this. And I know who you are, and I know what you want to anchor to. I just felt so seen in that friendship. And I've been trying again to explain this to people around me. My friendships have become the door out of any menopausal angst that I've experienced.
Soul sisters. I'll tell you what.
Sisters.
I did not stop memoing my besties at Joe Dispenza. I was.
Oh, well, I'm going to go tell her that.
I was giving them updates. I was sending them meditations. You should have seen me.
That's so funny. But I got to honor her process.
I was my girl. Well, my girls did the same thing. They're like, we know you're going to go, because I was the longest I'd been away from Kingston. Is, the 6-day retreat.
Wow.
Or maybe 7. I was gone for 6 nights. And they were like, do you, girl? And I was like, I have got to keep you in the mix. I got to let you know what I'm up to. Because they haven't been. So many of my friends wanted to know. And I was going through some major transformations. My girls, I got to keep them in the know.
They need to know. That's right. Oh my God. When my friend comes back, I'm going to be like, listen, girl, I just learned there was a different way to do this.
You could have been memoing me before your meditation. Yeah, it was so much fun. Right. And I'm always a mom, but that was the first time where I had a space away from my son. And so I had all the time to memo, let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. But yeah, so, how do this is one thing that I really feel like you and our hearts align on, which is how do we surround all women in this experience? And, as a history, women are mean to women. Yeah. Like, we're not nice to each other. And I feel like menopause is a time to change that. Because any woman that's going through a hormonal transition deserves a hug. I've even stood and spoke at conferences in front of thousands of people. And I ask all the perimenopausal women to raise their hand. And then I tell everybody, look at those women, and at the break, go give them a hug. Because this is a time where we need to come together as a collective and support each other, and lean into each other, not tear each other apart.
100%. I will always say I take care of everybody by taking care of women. I have been a champion of women since I was so young. I don't even remember. And so I've been really blessed to always have beautiful, amazing women around me. But even in this stage, very specifically in this stage, the caliber of deep connections is so much more than it's ever been. And again, I think what it all comes down to, especially in the menopausal experience, is feeling safe and feeling belonging. That's what matters.
Safety's huge. Yeah, safety because safety is oxytocin.
Yes. Woo.
And belonging. Yeah. They're both oxytocin.
Yeah, and they trump cortisol.
So they totally
oxytocin is the only hormone who can just shut cortisol down. She is the queen. She really is the queen hormone right there.
She is.
And so, it's especially when we're going through it and it could feel like our world is getting smaller, that's really the opportunity to step out. And it may feel a little bit scary, especially if your experience has been, man, I've had a lot of mean girls or women, it's more surface level. And if that's been the case for you, I just want to invite you to take that first step. Maybe it was somebody that you used to be best friends with while you were moms, or someone that you went to yoga with all the time. And then, things like the pandemic hit and people moved and there was a massive reshuffling. I think women felt more alone in that time than ever before. And many of us may not have recovered from, that loss of friendship and connection as well. And so I say go back and reach out. I send memos to friends who I haven't talked to in a while, at least once a week. And even if I don't hear anything back, I was memoing a friend of mine about 2 months ago, and I didn't hear back, and I memoed again. I didn't hear back, and then I got a message from her husband, and she has been diagnosed with Lewy body dementia. Is one of my best friends. And, it's one of those friends where no matter where you are in life, like no matter how long it's been, you just come right back together. And I didn't, at the time where I was sending these memos like every month or so, and I didn't hear back, I didn't think anything of it, but then come to find out that she was really leaning on those at a very, very hard and difficult time. And I'm still sending them almost every single week. And so you just never know when you take that step, the impact it's going to have on somebody else's life. We just don't know where everyone is at. And so my recommendation is take that step. Go through your Rolodex, go through your phone, go through Instagram or Facebook. Who haven't you talked to in a while that you would love to know, what they're up to? And maybe just, it can be easy. We haven't talked in a while and I've been thinking about you. You've been on my heart. And, I saw a couple of posts and I immediately wanted to just say hi, see how you're doing and see what happens. But then also I say locally, go doing things that you love, where you cultivate community as well. And so there's a lot of ways that we can create it. I think when we set the intention of creating soul sisterhood, that it all shifts and we start to really attract the people that can hold space for us.
Yeah. I think it's a really important part. I've been much more intentional about my friendships than ever before. And for me, what it's looked like yesterday, I have a friend who we had a long list of different activities we wanted to do together. And I was like, let's go do this and let's go do this. And one of the things we said we were going to do was pottery class together. So yesterday we went and did a pottery class, and then it was her birthday and we went and celebrated her birthday. And this morning I woke up and I was like, that was really cool, because when I had my clinic, there's no way on a Tuesday I could have stepped away from patients and gone and done pottery with a friend and then gone to dinner with she and her husband and celebrated it. So I made an intentional effort to message her and just be like, thank you. Your friendship means the world to me, and I really appreciate our day together. Now, the busy version of me, younger version of me, might have never done that. But I am learning that the friendships I want to foster. You
I was
one of them.
I was going to say, I am courting you right now, Mindy.
I know. We're menopausal dating. This is I used to have this thing when my kids were little. I would say, I'm going to mommy date. I need to find some mommies. Now I feel like we're actually probably author dating, because I love to find fellow authors. But it's so fun to find somebody and say, I like your energy. I feel safe around you. How do we do more together? But you're right. We're totally courting each other. It's great.
It's so good. It's so good. And I'm such a blessing to get to have you in my life. I mean, the last couple of months when we've been sending memos, I've wanted to respect your time too. But I was like, I'm just going to admit it right here on the podcast. I'm courting Mindy right now.
Okay. I usually call it stalking. I usually say, I literally will tell people, I stalked you, and then they laugh. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I just love what you're up to. I love who you are, and I wanted to get to know you. It's just, I say stalk because it's funny.
That's hilarious. So I found a sexier, I was like, let me find a sexier name for it. But I think really time, you're right. It's commitment, it's time, but it's so worth it. One of the other things that I did this year that really shifted a lot of my stress is I'm reading romantic fantasy books. And I have a whole list. And
I bet Alex is enjoying that.
Exactly. And I have all these book besties. I keep gathering book besties because I'm a researcher we're researchers by trade. And so, I am consuming I think I've read 45 of these since March. So I'm going through a series and all the things. And I'm literally, I've ranked book boyfriends. If you want to be the ultimate book boyfriend, I know who he is. I know what series you need to read. And so,
oh my God, I have
all these friends
so much. This is hysterical.
They're reaching out and they're like, okay, I just finished the series. Oh my gosh. And it's just once someone's reading something that you loved, it's just this moment. And they're like, okay, what do I read next? And so I find I have all these memos coming in, either in Instagram or in my phone of the next book boyfriend. And so that has been so much fun.
Okay, tell us where we go with romantic fantasies. Where's my door in? And we should probably let everybody know, because I'm going to go order them.
The big romantic fantasy author right now, the two of them, Rebecca Yarros with the Iron Flame and Fourth Wing, a little bit younger. Okay. And then Sarah J. Maas has sold almost 5 million books this year. So Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorn and Roses. But my favorite book boyfriend is Luther. And he is in author Penn Cole, and it's the Kindred Curse Saga. And book 4 is about to drop. So I'm so excited for that. Yeah. Okay,
I'm going to go. I'm going to have to. I love this. This is the power of collaboration, is is learning things like this. So the other interesting thing is I have a friend who loves to travel. And so she asked me last year if I wanted to go to Turkey. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And so we're actually going in 2 weeks. And then we both love to read books. And she's like, well, we need to read a book about Turkey. So she researched a historical novel. So we're now both reading it together before we go on this excursion. So good. And it's just, this is soul food. Maybe my 30-year-old self wanted the big house and the nice car. My soon-to-be 55-year-old self just wants connection with humans and as many lovely ways as I can. Literally, I can't get enough of connections from heart-centered humans that fill my soul. It's become my quest for my life, is to find those people that light me up.
I honestly think it's everything. When I check in, like what matters most, and not that mission and purpose isn't so important. And goodness knows that's been the driver my whole life. But like when I tap into awe and joy and safety and belonging, like it is spending time with my favorite people in real life as much as possible. And so I have a birthday party planned this weekend, and I'm literally only having this birthday party so that I can bring my favorite people together. That is why I'm doing it. I want to be the reason that people come together. And so that to me is everything, at least right now, especially when, again, rage takes over and anger and irritability. And I want somewhere that's a safe place for me to express those emotions. And they don't live in my house and they don't breathe, in a way that I don't like. And so.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I have a lot more compassion for my friends than I do my partner.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it does bring up an interesting thing that our partner can't be everything to us. And I've really tried to explain this to my husband, which is a hard thing to understand. It's like when I go and I connect to my girlfriends, like I come back a more whole version of me. And I can actually give to the relationship. And he's starting to understand that. But again, it wasn't until I went through perimenopause that all of a sudden that became a necessity. It was like, don't get in front of me and my besties. Like, all I want to do is hang with them because they're the thing that makes me calm and happy at this point in my hormonal journey. So, totally love this.
Yeah.